This
The
conference
session
will
is at
now be
9.
recorded.
The session starts at 9. I just waited for 5-10 minutes, but still it is 9:15. People are joining. So I should have started the session by 8:45 like that. Okay.
Hello.
Mm, hello. Someone want to ask something?
Actually, I'm trying to mute myself, but it is not happening from the app. Can you do it from your end?
Okay. So, okay, it is noise from your end from that time.
Yeah, I'm not able to
Okay.
mute.
Okay. Can you tell the name? Yes, your name?
Anamika.
Anamika. Okay. It should happen. Mm, You're in a mute only, right, Anamika? This is the one, right? I like think you're in mute only, right? Anu. Okay.
Atul, can you click on three dot? I think you can able to mute
Okay, just a
everyone.
minute. Okay.
Can you see any
Uh,
option is there? Mute everyone.
Mute. Yes, mute everyone. Okay, mute all. Okay. But when someone wants to speak, I think you cannot able to unmute yourself and
We can
No, we can
unmute.
able to unmute ourselves.
okay. Okay, okay, then I'm just muting it. Mute all. Fine. So if you want to ask something or stop in middle, please mute here. Okay. Yeah. Unmute yourself. Okay. And the session is also recording. Okay. uh, as I told, right? So you have many different programming language, which is going to reduce the man's work or whatever we have discussed it, right? Like Java, C, Python, and all that. But does the program or your computer understand the Java, right? If I write some Java code or if I write some Python code and I give it to the Java, right? Does the computer understand that code? Really no, right? So because computer know only one language, that is your zeros and ones, that you call it as binary language. So we'll see like what we have covered is nothing but to solve a problem or there is some complex thing that is happening, you need a software. So in a software, like you have a programming language, so which will solve your problem. Like I just take an example of an ATM machine or a bank or something else, right? So where you will get a money within a fraction of seconds, or where you can able to transfer money from person to person. So this is happening because of a software and a programming language. So okay, that part was clear. So when it comes to the system, right? So you know the programming language, but you cannot tell you cannot write if you write a programming language which cannot be understood by the computer. As I told, computer understands only zeros and ones. We'll see how this translation happens. Okay. uh, so this is just a figure like where I just want to tell that a computer understands a binary language which is only your zeros and ones, right? Sorry, someone want to ask something? Okay, if no, I'll continue it. Okay, so before introducing of Java, Python, whatever the languages, you have one popular language which is assembly language. So where you will be, which is the language where the computer where we will be converting this assembly language to the binary language which can be able to understand by the computer, right? So a simple thing that I think you can able to see in the slides right here, where what happened, you just want to add two numbers, right? So which is like a plus b, and you represent that in a mesh in assembly language. So as in assembly language, you will be having will be having registers, right? So every register will have a memory. So I just want to add 2 plus 3. What I'll do, I'll keep 2 in one location, I'll keep 3 in other location. So that location will have some address, and what I do is nothing but I'll just add that two addresses and which will be stored in some X location. So you can see copy 2H in register A, copy value 4H in register B, and you just add it. So again, what happens again internally, it converts into zeros and one, and that's what your computer will understand it. Okay. And there is something like I think you can see this. Whatever you give the commands, that converts to bytecode, and bytecode to the computer, which understands by computer thing. And your assembly language is platform dependent. So what is meaning by platform is nothing but it is like a processor as well as your operating system. So it's like a simple example, like Windows will have a Windows operating system and Intel processor. So you will get better understanding on this, what is mean by platform independent, by upcoming things, by upcoming slides. Hope no queries as of now, right? Okay, I'm going forward. So please stop me whenever you feel uncomfortable or something that you cannot able to get it. Okay. So you have an assembly language, so which is older than your C language, right? So before introducing Java, you have C. I think most of you are aware of it, the C language. How that C language work is nothing but where you have a C, you write the code in C, right? As I told, your computer will not understand C or Java, whatever it may be. You need to convert that to a binary again. So how the binary, your C code that you have written a program in C code will be converted into a binary is nothing but these are the steps which helps to convert into a machine code, right? So you have written a C code, and where your compiler, there is some compiler you have it. So it is like a translator, I can say it, right? So whenever you go to some I think you are aware of this translate kind of thing, right? So I just go to a place where I don't know the regional language, right? So the people know only Hindi, or the regional people know only Telugu or Hindi, right? So but I am the person who just want to deliver my speech, so but I know only the English, right? So you will have some intermediate person, right? So he's a translator that you have seen it in many movies or somewhere, right? So whatever I speak in English, he's going to listen it and translate that to a Telugu, which will be understand by the people over there, right? In the same way, you written the C code, but your computer will not understand that. So you have a translator, you have a compiler thing, which will translate it to the machine code, which understands by the computer. So I'm just taking like the computer is nothing but the people, where they understand the machine code like that. I think I'm just giving an examples which makes the things to understand it. Okay. You have written in C code, and you have a compiler where it will compiler will convert into an assembly language. It is not directly, your compiler is not going to convert into machine code. So machine code is nothing but assume it zeros and ones, that it is not like machine code is something not like complex. It is only zeros and ones which will understand by only by the computer. uh, and your assembly language, which you have seen earlier, right? So this is the assembly language. You have written a code, your compiler will convert into this kind of assembly language, and after assembly language you have an assembler which will convert into a machine code. This is nothing but your zeros and ones. Okay. uh, it is like you can just see it, and you call cs platform dependent. So why I think I told you, right? Your assembly language is also platform dependent, and your C also a platform dependent. So when you heard about, I think you, someone may heard or someone may not heard, you will be hearing about this platform dependent and independent. So what exactly meaning by a platform dependent, right? So I have written a some source code, right? Source code is nothing but I written a program in C language to add a two numbers. For example, like a plus b equals to int a equals to int c equals to int a plus int b. I'm just written, and I'm just getting a result, right? So after that, your C compiler is going to compile the code, and it's going to generate this assembly language, right? So I have an assembly language, and you are having different platforms, right? So when you work with the system, you have Windows, you have Linux, you have Mac. There are like different operating systems, right? And if I put whatever the code I have written, and I got some assembly language, even that will not be understand by us. So that code, if I run it into the Windows platform, it can execute it, because it is only particular for Windows. if the same code I trying to run it in Linux, it is going to not work. It is going to be an error because whatever the uh, code that I have, whatever the compiled code that I have, that is suitable only for Windows. So Windows only understands, and it is going to convert into a binary language which understands by system, right? So if I run the same thing in Linux, it is not going to understand it. If I run in Mac, it is not going to understand. So for particular operating system, you have particular set of code. So after compilation, I cannot run that code in different platforms. So I think you understand that meaning, right? Platform is nothing but your Windows or Linux or Mac. I'm just calling them as a platform. And dependent. So what I have one code that is dependent only for Windows. If I have a code, if I run it in Linux, I cannot run that in Windows. If I run it in Mac, I cannot run it in Mac and Windows. I think it is like vice versa. It is only for particular system. So particular platform. So that is the reason I call it as platform dependent. Uh, Hope this is clear.
Yes,
Okay, and please like tell me if I was little faster or you cannot able to. Is it fine, or you want me to reduce the speed, whatever I'm the phase I was telling? You can able to get the things, or
this is fine.
So good for me.
Yeah, fine.
okay, thank you,
Yeah, this
thanks a
is
lot.
fine.
Mm, okay. So some of may be knowing this, but I was, as I told from the beginning, I just want to tell it in the manner like if someone is coming here, they don't know anything about software, they don't know anything about programming language, they are very fresh. But my intention is to understand to each and every individual in this meeting. So that is the reason I may be repeating the things, or I may be little clear on it. Okay, fine. So here comes our topic, that is Java. And there's a main reason, like not the main reason, this is also one of the important reason to change from C to Java, right? So you have an assembly language that you that we have discussed in earlier, right? So assembly language has some negatives like disadvantages, right? So like you need to be writing it in a length, the code that you write is a very lengthier, and you need to be doing a repeated tasks, right? So for example, I just want to add a two numbers, right? I just want to add the two numbers in 10 places, right? So in assembly language, what I should be doing is nothing but I need to be writing in that 10 places the same set of code. It is like 10 into 10. How many times I've written the same set of code is like 100 times, right? To add a number, I've written 100 lines of code, right? Here the disadvantage with assembly language is nothing but I cannot do the code reusability. I think you are able to get it, right? Code reusability. I want an addition. I want that addition in 10 times, but I want to write that uh, 10 times like same set of code. So I cannot write once and I cannot able to use it one number of times. So that is like one of the disadvantage. You have many, but I'm just telling one disadvantage that was there in assembly language. And where you have a like a programming languages where you have C, here that can be overcome, right? Which is like code reusability. I think you can able to understand this terminology, code reusability. uh, it is like I have written a code once and I can able to use it n number of times. So for that they introduced a method, they introduced a like a variable, so I can able to do that addition. So I just want to be telling this in a little clear manner. Mm, okay, so what is this code reusability, or what all this I'm speaking about is nothing but I just want to add it in the two numbers, right? So my task is nothing but to add two numbers. So if I write the same thing in assembly language, what I do is nothing but store A in location some 100, store B in location some 2000, and add location A comma B, A and B. So this is the code that I need to be writing in assembly language to do the addition. So my task is to add numbers. So I'll do this in three different in assembly language as well as C, right? So I want this it in the some 16th line, 6th line, right? Have written this. But what I need is nothing but I just want the same operation, addition of two numbers in some 100th line also, something, right? So what I do the same repeated operation, right? I cannot able to use this code for addition, right? So again, I want it in some 200th line, the same set of code operation, right? So it is like I just want it for 10 times, assume it. So there are like three lines of code I'm writing it. So 10 into 3. So it is like I'm just writing 30 lines of code, right? So it is there is no code reusability was there in assembly language. For that, they have some programming languages they introduced, like the process of structure oriented language. That is like one of the programming languages, nothing but your C. So if I want to do the same operation in C, so what I do, they've introduced like methods, variables where you can able to do that code reusability. So I just want to do an addition. So what I do, create a method called add, and I will just discuss what is this return type and what is the syntaxes as well. What I'll do, the same thing, I'll declare the variables int a equals to b, int b equals to sum 6, and c equals to a plus b, right? So I'll return this value. So I have written this in the 6th line, right? So I'm just want to writing the adding of two numbers in c, assuming it. So I want the same set of operation in some 100th line, right? What I do, instead of repeating this whole set of code, what I'll do, I'll just call this add method, right? So I'm not writing that three lines of code, four lines of code. I'm just calling the method. It is like I'm using the code which I have written in the 6th line. Same one, I want to do it in the 200th line. The same operation I'll do. I'll just add a call method. Add. I'll just write a method which is going to call this method again. So it is like you declared this method once. You have just written an add method once, and you are trying to use it in n number of times. Like you are this is like your code reusability. You have written code once and you're using it n number of times. So this was the overcome which was there in assembly language, which was overcame in the your C language, uh, and you call this as code reusability. Hope it is clear, right? So you have assembly language, you have just overcome that disadvantages in the C language, right? And you still has that some uh, disadvantages in the structure oriented programming languages. That is, as I told you, platform dependent. I told like once you write a code and you cannot able to compile it in all the platforms. I have a code. If I run it in Windows, I cannot run it in Linux or Mac. If I run it in Mac, I cannot run it in other systems. So you call that as platform dependent. So for that, you have we have come up with a language called Java. You call this as platform independent. So if you see this diagram, like you get, I think you can able to understand why I'm calling this as platform independent, right? So I write in a code. So same addition of numbers or something. I have just written a code, right? Uh, 1 minute. Okay. Okay, I've just written a code in Java, and here here you have a Java compiler. So where you are going to get a dot class files, whatever the code that you write in Java, you will be going to get a dot class files. So this you call it as bytecode. So this bytecode is going to understand only by the JVM. It is not a binary language. It is not the coding language. The coding language that a human being we understand, right? And there is a dot class file which is like intermediate thing, right? Which is not present in your C. but it is present in your bytecode kind of concept and dot class kind of concept, which is present in your C, right? So this dot class, what it is going to do is nothing but which is like converted of your like Java code, as you have different operating systems, right? Windows, Mac, or Linux, or some X operating systems, right? So whatever the operating system that you have connected, based on that, your JVM is going to convert that to a particular particular understandable format of that particular operating system. You have one source code, right? You have one written the code. It is, in this case, it is your, it is not like, it is not your worry about your platform, because JVM takes care of it. So it is going to convert to the platform which is understandable format of the that particular JVM is going to convert to the understandable format of that particular operating system. So for example, I have just connected to Windows system, right? So I just for that addition, 1 is nothing but the equivalent code for the Windows. So it is your JVM is going to convert into 1 for that particular source code. Linux will understand in format of 110. So that is a binary where your JVM is going to convert into 1010, like, which is understandable format of your particular operating system. So this is how your Java became as a platform independent with compared to the C. So it here in this case, it is not your worry about the platform. uh, is it clear?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so why you have Java, like the reason is here in the slide, right? So where you have a lot of programming language like Python, or there which is very made for machine language and which is getting grown day to day, but
Um,
Java has its, sorry.
Hello. Yeah, hi.
uh
Would you please repeat it
yes,
about this JVM?
okay, JVM, okay, fine. uh, what I'm like, are you clear about this C, right? Why it is platform dependent, why I'm calling this part is clear,
Yeah,
is
yes.
C language. Okay. But when it comes to Java, I'm telling it, it is like platform independent, right? So that you are not clear, right?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, for example, I've just written a code. So the same add functionality I've just written, assuming it that I'm just trying to write in Java. So assuming that I'm just written this some set of code in Java, right? So if I compile this code, so as you have a machine, right? So your machine will not understand the what I mean to say, this code, right? It is going to understand only zeros and ones. Okay. So if I do a compile, after compiling, this particular set of code is going to convert into a dot class file. So assuming that this is the dot class file, some code that don't no need to worry. So there is some which is cannot be understand by, I'm just you will have a different format. I'm just assuming this is the format, right? So this is the you have written this code in dot Java file. Create Java files, like you will be writing in .java files. You have written this code, right? After doing a compiling, assuming that you just got this kind of code. So this is nothing but equivalent to this, right? After compiling, and which is stored in .class file. Is this clear? Okay. After doing a compilation, you just got this particular code which is equivalent to this code, right? So assume that uh, as I told, you have different operating system, right? So assume that Windows is going to understand this particular code in the format of 001. I'm just making an assumption, right? Linux is going to Mac is going to understand this format in 00001, right? So this particular binary code is different, and this particular binary code is different. Am I right? So here there is intermediate thing that comes is nothing but your JVM. So what JVM do is nothing but, I'm just telling, this particular set of code is nothing but 001 for Windows. This set of code is 0001 for Mac. Okay. So when JVM enter, what JVM is going to do is nothing but it is going to, when, for example, if I am converted to Windows, so what happens? Your JVM will convert this particular set of code to 0001. If I am converted to, if I connected to Mac, if I am using Mac system, what JVM is going to do? JVM is going to convert this set of code into 0001, because 0001 is the, sorry, not 0001. It is very okay. Sorry, I don't want to write longer. So 01 and 0001. So Windows will understand 0001 and Mac will understand 01. Just an assumption. So if I connected to Windows, your JVM will convert this code into 0001. If I connected to Mac system, your JVM is going to convert this code into 01, because Mac understands 01, your Windows understands 0001. So here it is not, you are not worrying about your platform. So your JVM is going to take care of the platform. For example, you have some X platform which is going to which understands 00, like 10101. So what happens? Your JVM is going to convert this particular code into 1010, which is understand by that X platform. So whatever the binary code that platform understands, in that format, your JVM is going to convert. So it is not your worry about the platform. Uh, is it clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Mm, okay. I think it got hanged. Give me a minute. Mm, not sure it's working. Got hanged. Give me a minute. So this is what I said. Like your dot class file is going to your JVM is going to convert into Windows, Mac, and like if Windows understands 01, it will convert 01. If Linux understand 10, it will convert to Linux. So one class file is going to convert into different things we have because of JVM. That is like Java virtual machine. So you get to know better about this and more about this on upcoming classes. I'll try to take a internal structure of JVM and how it works and all that. So in that case, you may get more understanding on that. So you can just even read this little, get more clarity. Each OS has separate JVM to read that bytecode into its own way. Means that JVM depends on the OS, and if it does not, if there should be only one JVM block picture that can be reading into the every one operating system. Okay. Hope it is clear. Uh, hmm,
You'll never get away with this. Just watch me.
again.
I get away, but everyone will be giggling when I do. This is my favorite trick ever.
Okay, I done it. Thanks for someone telling this option. Okay. So here comes. I'm just asking why Java, right? So as I am telling it, right? You, uh, So as I was telling it, right, so there are like many booming language things which is coming, right? You have heard about Python, which is like very good for machine kind of learning or artificial intelligence, and you have like Ruby or many other languages. But Java has its own things which cannot be which cannot which has its own competition to be, because there are lot of things which is came with the Java, which is suitable for many kind of applications like enterprise, or whenever it is like a big applications, right? So I will be telling what is enterprise or other kind of applications. So it has its own things where it is evolving every day, and it is going to keep up with the market. So as whatever the things which is getting changed in the market, and it is also getting evolved in it, right? So what kind of applications that you can able to develop with Java? That is like web development, right? So whatever the applications that you see like Amazon, like Flipkart, or for example you want to do some shopping in an Amazon or a Flipkart, right? So you give some your details, and what happens, you see some screen, right? And your details is going to store somewhere, and after 10 days also, if I sign in with my name, I can able to see that, right? So all this is happening because of some code which is written in a backend, and there is some software. So whatever the all kind of web applications that you see in day-to-day lives, which can able to done with Java, right? So it has your lot of frameworks which is internally has a core Java in it, and where you have develop web kind of applications, and for testing purpose, right? When I have written an application, I just want to do that vigorous testing, right? Whether it's working or not. For example, an Amazon application that like whenever there are like a lot of users, and when you made an application in real time, right? As you know, the development is very important, and the testing is also the very important, right? So if I make a bank application, and if I ask for if I like send a 5,000 as a transfer, it should not go 5,000, it should not go with 3,000 or 6,000, right? So whatever the data that I have given should be a proper. So in that case, you need a lot of testings, right, in various kinds of applications. So for that, you have Selenium, and you have lot of other tools. For that also, you need a Java. As a core Java is a where you will be doing it. And I think you know Android and Mac, and what is this like mobile kind of applications, right? So where you will be seeing many kind of apps in your mobile, right? Like I don't like Instagram, like Uber, like Ola, Rapido. Like there are a lot of apps that was nowadays we are using it, right, in Android phone or an iPhone, right? So all that kind of apps can be developed by using Java. I can we can able to develop, like there are a lot of ways, but Java supports that kind of app development, right? And I think you heard about the big data, so which is very getting popular nowadays. As you know, the data is very important, right? And is growing day to day, right? So we have lakhs of users, lakhs of things, lakhs of people are getting connected to the internet. So like there are a lot of registration, it means there are a lot of people comes to the place. You have a lot of data, and you need that data to be in organized way, right? So for that, you have big data, and there are like lot kind of tools where you will be using kind of Java here. And which is like object oriented language. You call Java is object oriented language, and you heard about these things many times, right? When you learn any particular language, right? If you're very good with Java, and if you're very good with any kind of object oriented language, you can able to easily learn and easily adapt any kind of tool or any kind of language, right? So because of its futures and it things, it helps you if you want to not only with you want to settle your career in Java, you want to settle your career development in Java or Android or a big data, whatever it may be. But this core Java is going to help you a lot. Okay, so I think you get a clarity why we need to be learning this Java, right? And you have this lot of futures. I don't want to tell all this at once, like as we go on, right, as we go on with the classes, and I can able to tell you each step, each future in detail, and you will be getting that things very clear. So I think we learned this point, right? Like just now it is like platform independent. So I write my code, I am not worried about the platform. I'll run it in Linux, I'll run it in Mac, and I'll run it in all the systems, right? And it is simple, portable, secure, dynamic, portable. You have a lot high performance and multi-threaded distributed application. So Not one, there are many features that you have. So we'll be going learn these things in detail, and hope it will be a great and interacting sessions upcoming. As I told, like your flavors of Java. So as I told, there are like you can able to develop a mobile applications, you can able to do an enterprise or web applications, right? So generally these are the like three kinds of like divisions that we have done. One is like when it comes to, you have J2SE, J2EE, and J2ME. So J2SE stands for Java standalone application. I just want to develop a standalone application, right? So which is only for my system. What is my meaning of a standalone application? I want to do a calculator, I want to develop a calculator, right? So if I give 10 whatever the big number, it should be giving me an output, right? So I just want to develop in a calculator, so that is only to my system, right? I cannot expose that calculator to outers. So that kind of standalone applications can be developed, and it is like standalone or desktop application, so you cannot run that application internet, so that you call it as standalone application. So J2, J2SC. And one more is like J2EE. It's like Java enterprise applications, where here you have two kind of applications, like web and enterprise. Web is like both web or enterprise applications that you can able to run it in internet, right? So whatever the applications, as I told, in Amazon or Flipkart, which you run with an internet, right? So I'll with a Gmail, right? I'll give my user ID password, and I can able to get the mail, right? So where for that all you need internet, right? So where you can able to run it in the web, so you call it them as web applications or enterprise applications. The difference between web and enterprise is nothing but enterprise is like literally high packed applications, where it has a lot of things embedded in it, where I can say like messaging or like security kind of things. It is like internally we give we like credentials, and we just see some, just only few things in the screen, right? But at background you have a lot of other things, right? But like security, you need some kind of messaging you need, right? When you, what is messaging, JMS or something, like for example done some transaction from my account, right? So immediately I'll get a message, right? So this is the amount that was transacted. So for that, again, you need some kind of services to support that your application, like JMS kind of thing and other things, right? So where you have some heavyweight things, you do that with enterprise applications. So whatever it may be, you run both of them in the internet. And like J2M is like micro application kind of things, where you run on mobile phones or pages, like Android phone or whatever I told you, right? Rapido or these things, whatever the apps that you see it in your mobile, so that can able to develop with the Java, so that you call it as micro applications or mobile based applications. So, so we can able to learn more on this upcoming. So please ask any questions. Any questions? Not please ask any questions. If you have any questions, please can let me know.
Surya, what is the syllabus of this course? Any
I
index?
think it was, I think it was already shared in the link actually. So where you can able to done the registration, right? So, but I'm just going to tell you again. So we are going to cover only the OOPS concepts. Like if you are aware about the Java, like OOPS concepts, like what are the classes and objects, and mainly about exception handling and multi-threading little part, and more into the OOPS like encapsulation, polymorphism, this kind of things, and a simple standalone application we'll be doing. After that, what we do is nothing but we, as I told, there are like different kinds of applications like enterprise things, right? So we'll be learning about what is servlets, where you can able to connect your application with the internet, right? So and will be when you want to use kind of data, you'll be storing it in database. So how you interact your Java code with the database, and how you make a standalone application, like standalone and web application, like that. So these are the
Okay.
things that you're going to cover. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
after
Are
completing
you?
this course, will I able to use Selenium?
Yes. So for Selenium, for sure, you need a core Java that I'm going to cover it, right? So for example, as I told in earlier, right, in the slide, if you see, so for Selenium, you need basics of core Java. What is your OOPS concepts? What is encapsulation? These things which I'm going to cover. So which for sure it is going to be useful for when you want to enroll, when you are doing a course in Selenium.
And what is difference between Java and core Java?
Java, like nothing. There is nothing different. Core Java, or you people just started it as core Java. Like as I told, like you see, you have three kinds of applications, right? So Java can be with you can do with standalone or enterprise things, right? So core Java is something where you have OOPS concept. People just call it, started calling. The name came, but where you have this OOPS concepts and all this where you will be able to develop a normal standalone application with this core Java concepts actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, Surya, one more thing, like, are you going to cover the you are going to cover OOPS concept, right?
Yes,
So you
exactly.
will
Yes.
include theoretical as well as will you include some practical session as well, or
For,
it's purely
for sure,
theoretical?
for sure practical. Without practical, if theory nothing
Okay,
happens, right? For sure practicals will be there. I'm going to write the programs, whatever the concepts that I'm going to teach, for sure I'm going to write the relevant program for that.
okay. And second
Mhm.
question is like how this course is going to help. For example,
Mm,
everyone is working on different technology, right? So for
yes.
performance testing related events, for example, I am from performance testing
Mm,
domain. So how
yes.
this course is going to help performance tester?
Exactly, as I told you, right? For a performance engineer or whatever it may be, you need some basics of core Java, right? How you write a programming thing and how you call that classes or objects and how you invoke it, right? So these concepts, when when you will be having aware of this exception handling, all this for sure, it's going to help your performance also, performance testing also, right?
Okay, okay. So just one last question. Any prerequisite as well
Yes.
required? Like, do you have any like because
Uh, uh, Nothing as of now. Generally, I'm going to, as I told, I was going to teach you from the basic. If a person don't know anything about any programming language from zero, I'm going to start it. I'm going to start what is variable, what is class, like that. So if you want, you can just go with the simple kind of things. What is like a variable, a method, these declarations. So it will be little familiar. But I'm going to tell even those concepts also.
okay, okay, thank you.
I'm not going to directly jump into the programming. I'll just, for example, when you write a program, you have lot of variables or lot of these things, right? I'm going to explain each and everything, and I'll combine with that program.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
So every day it's the same timing, 9 to 10, or you want to start it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It is every day 9 to 10.
Are you going to share these recording sessions later or how it is?
I'll get back to you. I think after all the classes, I think we'll be sharing it. I'll just get back to you. I'm not sure on that. We'll see.
Okay.
Hi,
Were these
Surya.
classes only weekdays or over the weekends also you take the class?
No, no. As of now, Saturday, Sunday was not there. Like only on weekdays. Weekends, no classes as of now.
Okay.
Hi,
Fine.
Surya.
Yes.
I have seen the syllabus. It's been meant for performance engineering, but I haven't seen anything related to the garbage collection or any threading
Okay.
in detail. So you will be giving the insight for those, or
Yes, exactly. Because if I just written in the syllabus like multi-threading, right? So as I told the JVM internal, I'm going to tell, right, where you can able to see the garbage collection and all these things in the JVM. So as I told JVM, right? I have not specified in that syllabus, but it's going to get covered for sure. And if any things that need to be added, also you can add it, and I can able to if something that missed or that added, I can able to for sure I will do it.
okay, yeah, thank you.
Mm.
So it's going to be a 10 days course only completely.
Yes, exactly. It's 10 days course. Okay. Any questions still?
Um, Thank you, sir. Thank you for your.
Okay. If no, I'll just wind up the session. Okay. Thank you all.
Hello.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Surya.
yes.
Just one last question. Are you going to
Yes,
cover?
yes. You can.
Are you going to
You,
going to share any like kind of document, some material or PPT something over the email, or
yes, yes.
just
For
kind
sure.
of
After this, not right now, but after completing of all the sessions,
okay,
I think we'll be sharing this recordings as well as the PPTs,
okay,
documents.
okay. Thank you.
Mm.
This
Okay. Thank you all.